I have my friend Millie here. Millie's a very humble person. I've journeyed with her for a number of years. But Millie, and I don't want you to turn her into an idol. If you do that, you've not listened. So Millie's a really good friend of mine, and I love Millie. And you've had so many unusual experiences. Millie's got a cabin, and the plants grow in. So I have my friend Millie here. Millie's a very humble person. I've journeyed with her for a number of years. But Millie, and I don't want you to turn her into an idol. If you do that, you've not listened. So Millie's a really good friend of mine, and I love Millie. And you've had so many unusual experiences. Millie's got a cabin, and the plants grow inwards towards the light of the cabin. She gets gold dust in the vegetables, loads of it. It's in the carrots, it's in the roots, big piles of it. Sometimes she cooks a Sunday dinner and God coats it with gold dust. And she's been mentored by the Lord. And, I introduced her to Paul Keith, and Paul Keith was blown away at the stories. And I just want Millie to share about disappearing, some of her disappearing stories. And I want you to have an open heart, that it's imparted, that it's a grace, it's not a works. If you're turning this into a project, you've missed it. This isn't a big project. This is a revealing of the sons. This is a revealing of what we actually already are. It's just changing our thinking so we start to act like we really are. We're growing up into the head, into government, to do the works of the Father and even greater works. I think it's time that we started appearing on TV. I think it's time that we started appearing in front of ISIS, bulletproof monks. And some of this is already going on. I've just heard of a woman. She's led 1 million Muslims to the Lord. She was going to be killed. 1,000 Al-Qaeda she's led to the Lord. She was going to be killed by them. They were going to shoot her. And she started revealing the secrets of their hearts. This woman, she's in her 60s or 70s. She just spent a couple of days with Ian Clayton. She went into a nightclub. The Lord took her into this nightclub. She didn't know this, but they were all blood drinking, demonic people in this nightclub. She went in the nightclub and wept. She wept and wept. And what she didn't know is when she wept, she transfigured in front of everyone. The whole thing got torn under. She met some of the people afterwards, and they were all Christians because she'd gone in there, and the whole place went silent because she transfigured in the middle of it, because light belongs in the darkness. Light needs to start showing up, but we need to start to know how to move, how to transfigure. We've got to grow up. We've got to get beyond Pentecost. Pentecost was the first fruits. It was the beginning of it. It wasn't the end of it. We've made the beginning as the pattern with Pentecost, but Pentecost was just the beginning of something. Hey! So let's just welcome Millie. I love you, Millie. Thank you for wanting to talk to us. So the first time I guess that you knew you were going invisible was when you were washing up, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 3.5 years ago, and I'd just been practicing being caught up into his presence, just the desire that had been kind of formed in my heart from just falling in love with the presence and the person of who the Lord is. And so I just get used to standing and just, engaging with him whilst I was doing everyday activities and tasks. And yeah, one particular evening I was overseeing my mum and was just doing some washing up. She's talking to me, and I started to tune out a little bit as she's talking, and just begun to be a bit more captivated by what I was seeing in the realms of my daddy. And suddenly I noticed that my mum's voice had gone really high-pitched. It kind of sounded a bit muffled, but she sounded like she was in distress. So I started to turn my attention back towards this reality, and she was just screaming, "Where's half of you gone? Half of you's gone. Where's half of you gone?" And I thought, I don't know what she's talking about. And just half of me had gone completely disappeared, and the other half was just translucent, like she could see through me. And yeah, just that week, the Lord had been teaching me about superseding the natural laws to live according to the laws of His Spirit, which I wasn't very good at science and stuff at school, so it was really stuff that the Lord was starting to teach me. Another time I got so caught up into His love, I was actually at work. I was working full time then, and I got drawn into one of the particular courts in heaven and was just learning how things were happening there. But I realised that most of my attention was there and it wasn't here, and I kind of just checked myself and thought, no, I'm at work, I need to just focus. So usually if I find that I'm that far in, I just do something in the natural to kind of bring my awareness a bit more back. So I went for a little stroll down to my colleague's office. And yeah, when I walked in there, a guy in his 50s, he just shrieked and jumped backwards off his chair and started screaming out, "Ghost!" And I just thought, oh no. And yeah, then like my clothes were more visible, but the rest of me had completely gone. And so I just said, "I'm so sorry." Dreadfully sorry. It happened last week, actually. I was on FaceTime to some friends, and just as I was beginning to just discuss something that I'd just seen the Lord doing in someone's life. And again, I just started to engage in that place, but I'm not really aware that it's happening a lot of the time, because I find I'm kind of flickering in and out most of the time, just enjoying being with Him. So yeah, last week it happened just as I was on FaceTime, and my friends started to freak out, and they said, "What's that light shining? It's like there's this light shining like from behind you. And why are you pixelating?" But I was still talking to them, so they could still hear me. And I had all the blinds down in the cabin. I didn't even have the lights on in there. So a couple of days later, I was driving, just taking my car to the garage to get some work done on it. And as I was driving down one of the twisty English country lanes, this huge truck came, flying towards me around the corner, just completely filling up both sides of the road. And yeah, there wasn't anywhere for me to go, but just a few minutes before that, I just said, "Lord, I hide myself in you. I hide myself in you today. You are my habitation. I live in you, through you, from you. You are my supply. You are my full supply, Lord." And just as I turned the corner, I saw the truck, and my heart didn't skip a beat, but the truck just passed through my car. And the Lord showed me that there was people behind me in a car that had actually caused me to be driving down there at that time, because it was actually caused the truck to brake enough to miss the other cars behind me. So I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but it's just a real privilege when the Lord does stuff with you and then starts to teach you backwards from that point. So, but yeah, it's all just flowed from that place of just desiring Him, and of just living out of that place and reality of His heart, and just desiring to know Him and the fullness of His presence each and every day whilst I'm there, but living here. Is that all right, Justy?
Whoa. So things